Tonight I'm here to talk about something that happened during the first half of the year in the state legislature that has far-reaching implications for the city of Frisco. It's something that occurred while we were all debating and focusing our full city attention on the Performing Arts Center project. Senate Bill 840 was quietly passed by the Texas state legislature, and this has far-reaching and radical implications for cities like Frisco. What Senate Bill 840 does is it allows property owners and developers to preempt local and municipal regulations, including zoning laws, that might restrict or hinder the development of mixed-use or multifamily housing in commercially zoned areas. In other words, it creates the right to build multifamily on any commercially zoned property so long as you meet the standards set by the state, and the city has no power to set standards that are more conservative. For example, a commercially zoned property could put in multifamily a new development or a redevelopment of multifamily use for up to 36 units per acre and not have to get approval from the municipality. They can build a building that's 45 feet in height or the height of the highest height allowed for other commercially zoned developments in the city without having to come to the municipality for approval. I've spent a lot of time over the last election cycle, the last few months, getting to know some of you on city council. I've spent time with current and former mayors in other cities, current city councilmen and women in other cities in North Texas. And there's a miraculous thing that happened while we were debating and fighting about a performing arts center. They were engaging with their regional and state representatives and influencing the direction of this bill. When this bill hit the legislature, it was going to apply to the state of Texas. Communities like Flower Mound, North Lake, West Lake, South Lake, those officials got together with their state representatives and they had influence. They got the bill bracketed, which means that it was limited to communities of 150,000 or more in counties of 300,000 or more. The intention of a bill like this is to spur on housing, but it also, the bracketing, the intention was to push the requirements onto large cities when the smaller ones objected. My family and I moved to Frisco to live in a family-friendly suburb. We're very concerned that the state legislature has now signed into law, the governor signed into law a bill that could allow a 5-story apartment building to be developed in the strip mall property right outside of my neighborhood. My point is this. You've heard me speak a lot about desires and hopes and wishes for the city in recent months. You've heard me provide critical feedback. I've been told to be quiet by city officials. I've been told that my willingness to be vocal undermines my credibility. Other citizens have been told similar things. This body missed a huge opportunity to defend and advocate for the things that matter to Frisco residents in the first half of the year because we were out doing things like a performing arts center, which we said was critical to retaining and attracting citizens to this city. I think traffic, density, crime, those things are critical to retaining people in our city. And my hope is that we haven't fully missed the boat. This legislation has long-term consequences for the city. My hope is that this council, and I believe it's at least taking up these discussions, but my hope is that we avail ourselves of every single legal avenue and that we start focusing not just on Frisco's greatness, but on employing a leadership style that's rooted in humility and understanding that we need relationships with regional partners in the way that other cities around us have developed over the last decade. Thank you.
Just as a factual correction, city staff did work diligently in fighting this legislation, was very aggressive, with that, as were the elected officials. So
I appreciate that, but I also...
This is not a debate. I responded factually to your comments. Your time is finished.
I appreciate it. This is not a time for responses.
Okay, did you hear that? There's rarely ever a response by a city council after the 3-minute period's up for the resident or citizen. This goes to show you this really hit a nerve. And it should, because again, people buy properties for certainty and control at that time. And they feel real conviction when they want to make a place their home. They're not buying it as an investment. And what SB840 has done is converted the entire premise of that and really made everything into just a big investment game. So, welcome to the rodeo, TX zoning. We're going to keep reporting on all these things because, again, if you feel like you've been silenced, if you think you've been censored, or you know someone, I would love to hear about it. And I really, really mean that. This is a country that is based on things that are unlike anywhere else for a very specific reason. Being able to speak out and talk to those around you and tell people who are your elected officials what's happening and how you feel should not be censored. This is Lee. Love to hear from you. TX Zoning, I have an email right there, txzoning@zonability.com. And again, I'm going to keep working and pursuing what's going on with SB840. Thank you.